decided to make some videos about using iMovie. I've been using iMovie since the first time I ever bought a Mac back in like '06. It's changed quite a bit, and this newest iteration, which I think has been fundamentally the same UI and basic format since like, I want to say 2012 or so. It's pretty simple, pretty useful. It's not super powerful, but particularly lately, I've been noticing that there are a lot of features that I sort of didn't notice under the hood. And in figuring them out, it's been really helpful. So I thought that starting with the basics, I'd outline how the program works and then move on to some of the features that are a little more powerful, which really aren't obvious at first glance, and it took me this long to figure out. So here we have the basics of the program. There's a window on the side that shows the video you're working with, which can be brought out into full screen. It has the basic controls of fast forward, rewind, and play. And you'll see this little microphone here. This gives you the option of doing a voiceover. For the life of me, I can't figure out how to get it to pick up the audio from my interface. But honestly, who the hell wants to do that anyways? It's much better to have a nice separate audio file, presumably if it's important enough to you that you've recorded through a decent condenser microphone. This is the scaling. When you throw a clip in here, you're able to change the scaling in the timeline view. This is the timeline where you can place video and audio clips. And by changing the scaling, it changes how large the representation of those clips are, from really zoomed in to really zoomed out. This shows you the time code of where you are within the project. So, I'm at 2 minutes and 57 seconds out of 636. This is your project media, where all of the audio and video clips that you bring into the program will be visible. And then beneath, you have what they're referring to as libraries. I don't use these the way that's intended because I don't like having my file trees dictated by the OS. Just stubborn that way, I suppose. But if you were to click on photos, it would bring you into your photo library in the system's file tree. And then these are events. Events are where clips of audio and video are stored within a given project. So you can basically access the media from other projects in whatever project you're in. When you delete a project, its event, that is, its ammunition, its media, will show up here. And you can then delete events should you so choose. I've kind of hacked this system in a way to have the things that I'll use hypothetically in any project always available to me. I've created a project called Audio Basics and added this little chirp into it so that I can use that in lieu of a clap, or like you see in old movies where they chat and they have that, I don't know what it's called, but it's like a slate, I think they call it. It's like a little board that you can write on, and it has a hinged top, and you use it to create a stark spike of audio for syncing audio and video. And I'll be adding other things into here in the future. I just did this a minute ago. And there's this Max Novak textures pack that I downloaded for free somewhere. It's got like green screen stuff and VHS effects and things like that. And then I have one that I called Solid Colors, which are photographs, 1920 by 1080 pixels, that I often use and manipulate in my video projects, such as this green screen, which is useful for animating stuff, which we'll get into in future videos. And then the event relevant to the project at hand is at the very top. And along the side, from left to right, we've got tabs. My media is the one we're in now. Audio and video, never use it. I don't know what the point is. I guess it's a way you can access audio from the most recent folder you've imported from without having to actually go to the folder. But I mean, Command Tab, just go to Finder. I don't see the point of that. Some people might like it. I can't really give you any info on it. Titles are animated titles that come preloaded with the software. I gotta be honest with you, I don't like any of them. I sometimes use them when I'm in a pinch, but if it was really important to me, what I would probably do instead would be to bring this green screen into something like GIMP, because Photoshop's ridiculously expensive and unobtainable these days, and just create my own title, albeit not animated, on that green screen, which I I could then position where I wanted on the screen relative to the rest of the video, which, as you see in these, you can't. They put them where they want them to be. And a lot of times that really doesn't work out for me. I need them to be located at another portion of the video. But so like I'm saying, I would use the green screen and set myself up, and then it would be the title of my choice and the font of my choice located wherever I wanted it on this green screen. I would then bring the green screen into the project, place it above the video where I wanted it, and then using green screen feature, I would get the green screen to disappear, but the text would still be there. We'll go into that in more detail in a future video. So titles, backgrounds, never used that. I think it's some hokey soccer mom stuff that is intended for you to maybe drag in a background and then put video on top of it. I'm not really sure what the appeal of that would be, but I suppose if you were to say picture in picture, you could have your video on top of the background. I don't know, it seems kind of gimmicky and weird. Not anything I'm interested in, but there it is. Transitions. I use these a lot. As you'll see in this video I'm working on, when we go from this clip of some footage out the window of a bus ride to this clip of a creek in my area, it just jumps quickly. What transitions allow you to do, and I realize this is rudimentary, but there might be some people who don't understand it, and I'm trying to make the video as useful to as many people as I can. What transitions allow you to do is add an effect to the way that you transition from one clip of video to another. We'll start here with cross dissolve. This should be familiar to anyone who's ever watched a movie or a music video. It doesn't really show up because this is one clip of video that I've exported. That'll be something that you run into. If you take some video where there are two clips that are already fused together, as is the case here, and then split them, what the cross dissolve is doing is cross dissolving from the footage to itself. So you won't really have the effect. I'll show you this is more obvious if we cross dissolve from the same clip to itself. Nothing happens. But were we to instead scrub to a different part of the video so that you're not cross-dissolving from the clip to itself, this kind of emulates what it would be like to use two discrete pieces of video that weren't already in a project edited together. This is the effect you get. Do you see how one clip becomes transparent as it fades into the other? This can be pretty useful. And there are a variety of different flavors. Cross dissolve and cross blur are probably the most understated and tasteful, but there's all different kinds, and they all have their purpose at one point or another. To use them, it's very simple. You just go to transitions in the tabs at the top, select whichever transition you want, and simply drag it into the project. That's it for all of the top tabs. I assume it's more or less self-explanatory that when you want media in the project, you can just go to wherever that media is located and drag it into the project. You have two lanes available for visual assets, be it stills or video, and you have two lanes available for audio assets. The upper lane of audio will cause your clips to be tethered to the video. So when you move the video, the audio comes with it. I don't like that. It causes a lot of problems. But if you're doing something really simple, I suppose it could be useful. The bottom lane I prefer because the clips movement in the audio asset department and the video asset department or stills are separated. That's much better.